My name is Rhapsody, and welcome back to Darkest Dungeon 2. Time for us to unlock a couple more things, what with all the candles of hope that we earned in the last time, so...
a thing is to make it real once more.
The first thing I'm going to want to do there is get some trinkets. That'll give me a little bit of an idea
Drop of sanity in a sea of madness.
of the kinds of folks that I might want to be running here. Dark Impulse for disease resist. Let's get that on.
A welcome advancement in the science of survival.
Interesting. The Snappy Swig. +1 to burn damage dealt, but possibly much more important than that. Turn start, if your speed is equal to or greater than 8, 50% chance to gain a crit token. You know, a Plague Doctor might be able to run Magnesium Rain as a ridiculous AoE ability with that. Interesting. Let's get a couple more trinkets.
Every twinkling recollection
Oh,
is another
yeah.
implement at our disposal.
Selfish Motivation. Plus 50% damage per negative token. Turn start, add a negative token. Now, Taunt counts as a negative token. So, I propose, what if we did Man-at-Arms? And what if we did Man-at-Arms specifically with an eye towards the fact that if we get the next unlock, I think on Man-at-Arms, we have to get the riposte. Because I know that the Man-at-Arms has a riposte, and I know that we can set up taunt tokens on the Man-at-Arms, and then the Man-at-Arms will just have taunt tokens and riposte and just be doing a ridiculous amount of damage. I like it, I like it, I love it. I'm not gonna start the run without it.
New instruments will help us diagnose the world's affliction
Jeezy
and
crazy!
overcome it.
Raven's Reach! Range skills get plus 20% damage, and on miss, range skills get +1 stress. So what about that and the Snappy Swig on a point-blank shot highwayman? We just have like 2 members of the party doing ripostes consistently? Boy. Let's get a couple Stagecoach items now. Medicine Chest. Increases stacking for bandages and restoratives by 6 per sec, +2 to the quantity to produce items from Surgeon's Mixing Kit. Neat. That also would synergize with, I believe, the Pygmy Pliskin that we'd unlocked relatively recently. There we are. Pygmy Pliskin, +10% healing received from skills per medical gear equip item. Excellent. Okay. Heading back to the working fields for a couple more unlocks. Let's get another Stagecoach
Tools
item.
of iron. Such implements will serve us well.
Explosives magazine. Before each location, a chance to produce an explosive item and increases the stacking of explosives. Let's get a couple of combat items as well, maybe 2. Linseed oil flask for movement resist down, as well as burn resist down, and a 20% chance to add days.
To recall a thing is to make it real once more.
Makeshift javelin. Ah, now we are the Skybers. From any of our back 3 positions to any of the enemy back 3 positions, and it's basically just a sick attack that can vault them to the back of their party and add a lock on their position. Locked Jaw. Extra resistance piercing for all of the DOTs, but no resistance piercing for debuffs. One more trinket finds us the Stirring Snuff. 15% chance at turn start for a strength token, but on miss, get weakened. Okay, let's get 2 in items as well. Maybe 1 more Stagecoach item. The Poetry. For 2 targets, -4 stress as well as positive relationship, and it's a guaranteed positive relationship. Wild Tea removes a positive quirk. Sorry, removes a positive quirk a 4th of the time, but it definitely removes a negative quirk. Incredible! Increased chance of looting trinkets from the Trinket Organizer. 1 more Stagecoach item. Telescope, plus 33% to Route Scout. Love it. Okay, so, who do I think I'm taking out? I think I'm taking
Will
out...
help you choose a path. Resourcefulness will ensure you survive it.
the Man-at-Arms. Improvised Strategy. I've been thinking, if guarded, plus 25% damage until the next hit. Neat. Highwayman, you can unlock Yellow Hand. What's the Yellow Hand path? Plus 15% max HP, negative 75% to ranged skills. Oof. On hit, melee skills apply lower bleed resist to the enemy, and then highway robbery skills steal a positive token, double cross skills remove a block. I don't know about that. The cursed coin self on highway robbery get 2 repost trinkets. I do want to unlock that. Vanguard, Riposte, and Crush up. So I need to unlock Vanguard.
A little more light, a little more strength.
Also gonna get the cursed coin. And you know what? I think I just invest all of the rest of this into Man-at-Arms. Let's go Unshakability, and then get you close towards your next resolution.
Once more into the maelstrom, in search of what hope yet remains.
Okay. I feel like I have, like, other than the Vestal and Runaway, I feel like I'm using each of the classes
Adrift in this bituminous nightmare.
commonly enough. Surely, you know, the Man-at-Arms is a little bit overrepresented, possibly the Flagellant's a little bit overrepresented as well. Plague Doctor.
You mistook my abundance of caution for a lack of confidence. Perseverate on your grievances at length. The crossroads.
It's easy to mistake those two.
A place between places.
Alright. So for the party, lightning reflexes! Just straight up +2 speed for the Flagellant. That actually makes a really good case for a Flagellant already. But Man-at-Arms is willing to give what's asked of them, +5% to positive relationship chance, and also -5% to positive relationship chance because they are loud and proud. Get in the body.
Pride. More devastating than the horrors of 100 campaigns.
A Gaunt Slayer that misses the mark. I mean, I can guarantee the removal of that misses the mark, courtesy of the pickup that we just made, but maybe I don't need the Highwayman. What else do other people... Oh, yikes, the yips. Cadaver Hater? Well, don't know about that. There's Ascetic, or the Runaway, as well as Braggart. Not over the moon about that either. Leper, not so sure I would consider you even. Thanatophobia, only triggered on low HP and allied death. Other than that, we've got Steady for extra resolute chance as well as extra move resist. I can certainly see that being quite useful. I think one of the main problems for the Vestal is the usefulness of... Oh, what? Oh no, there's actually a lot more skills I need to get for Barristan before Riposte is viable. But I want to do the Riposte build. Crush skills get plus 50% damage in this path as well. Okay. I think I will just focus on getting the Man-at-Arms the rest of his skills over the course of this. So Man-at-Arms is already enough stress management for literally the entire party. So if I've got a Crush build, I could keep Rampart. I don't necessarily need Rampart. Defender is just a useful tool, so is Bolster. Hold the Line is great for getting back to the front of the party, and Bellow for the moment, I suppose. It really feels like a Highwayman is, you know, pretty appropriate still. Melee skills with lower damage. Point blank shot. I mean, oh, yikes. Neither of these paths are actually incredible. I don't want you to be worse at melee damage. I want you to do melee damage, actually, if possible. It's getting a little easier to consider not taking the Highwayman. What about a Deadeye version of the stealth build for the Grave Robber? So primarily Deadeye is saying it improves the damage and crit of range skills at the expense of melee. So What's range for us? Pirouette? That'd be the ability to launch ourselves back to the back of the party. I mean, unfortunately, lunge is melee. Hello? Glint in the dark is not melee. Sorry, is not melee. Is not melee. I'm so confused by it, I can barely say it. Glint in the dark is not melee, it's ranged. Huh? That honestly deeply surprises me. I mean, this build fundamentally would just go back to throwing daggers consistently. It's not awful, but it's not incredible either. Speed token with the shadow fade. I guess I'd be able to theoretically set our repartee. I could use pirouette near a start of a fight. Pirouette's not bad to open up a fight, actually. Pretty huge damage to both of the enemy frontliners. It dazes us, which is fine. We don't need to necessarily act that quickly in the second round. But it also does back 3, which means that I do have access to flashing daggers from the back position. That's surprising. I didn't think I did. I thought flashing daggers was from our middle 2 to the enemy's middle 2. So what, like this is my build? I feel like Glint in the Dark could be included here. Oh right, I don't need Absinthe if I'm taking Dead of Night. Oh, but then I don't have Pirouette yet. So what's better here? Front 3, Glint in the Dark. I think I'm not gonna be moving back forward consistently is the thing, right? Because forward on this character is encoded largely into lunge. Lunge being a melee skill, it's not necessarily gonna be something that's high on my priority list. But then if I'm thinking about this character moving, maybe I should consider the possibility of other characters moving as well. Runaway. I know that you move often with a lot of your abilities. I also know that the Runaway has this orphan path where they do extra damage when they're in the front 2 positions and extra burn when they're in the back 2. However, I have also heard that when using Dragonfly, it will calculate the damage, then move us back, and then calculate the burn. Also, Dragonfly is actually a way to set up combo on frontliners. Interesting, interesting. You're ascetic and you are braggart. Neither of those is awful. I don't really consider Backdraft to be incredible here. Dragonfly is though. Smokescreen is also really powerful. Run and hide I probably don't care so much about unless I'm like extremely pressed rather, maybe. Neither Hearthlight. It's like Ransack and Dragonfly. Self. Firestarter gives us a crit token, so one would assume that would be a really good reason to open the fight with Firefighter. Firefighter also says target, apply on hit to burn 3 turns, right? So if I'm using a riposte build, oh baby, there you go, get in the party.
Nothing remains, save a burning will to survive.
I'm looking to set up ripostes on characters. Okay, so let's look for something more of a traditional healer. I could totally see the Vestal being a more traditional healer for us. A rank flexible role that specializes in debuffs and token removal. Rank flexible role that specializes in party defense. Let's have a quick look at some of the differences here. Hand of Light, Mantra, and Sanctuary are affected. So, Hand of Light, Sanctuary, and I haven't unlocked Mantra yet. Okay, so I can see the extra defensiveness there. What about Confessor? Weakens enemies instead, and it hits both of the enemies in the front line. Oh. That's interesting. Very interesting, in fact. Hand of Light, Illumination, Judgment, and Mantra. So, Illumination is now removal of positive tokens for the enemies. Judgment is big debuffs for the enemy. And then Sanctuary is also a de-stress for targets that are on high stress. I don't think I want that version of the Vestal necessarily. I do like the Vestal wanting to be here. I guess I could have 2 members of my team who have guard. Because then I basically have like a backline guard and a frontline guard. Is that good though? Or is it... Oh. Hang on. Maybe this is a moment for a flagellant instead. So one of these flagellant paths, there we go, has punish with a knockback. Necrosis for the entire enemy team. Sepsis. Undying is also really good. More doesn't necessarily feel especially appropriate to run this character if I want someone else to be doing the taunting as well. Said lightning reflexes, a lot of speed. Low health grants great potency to blight and buff alike. Maybe not. I'm taking a long time agonizing over this decision. I want to continue using new characters that I don't get to use that much. You know who I don't get to use that much? The Jester. Every time I take the Jester, it's great, but I think for that exact same reason, I always look at the Jester like, oh, should I? It's so good. Should I really utilize it? Of course I should. I unlocked it for a reason, didn't I? Soloist. Also, I've got to get the final skills on the Jester as well. I should take more people who actually have things to unlock. We march, play out, harvest. So we could have a second line Jester, even?
A murderous melody lingers, long after the final chord has been struck.
So... heck, this looks like it would be my open? Right, because the Grave Robber acts faster than anyone else, typically. So I would be opening with Pirouette, moving to the back of the party, getting ready to start throwing out flashing daggers and throwing daggers consistently. Runaway Bonnie would move forward. Possibly even using Dragonfly, which would then move the Jester to the very front position to be able to use Harvest. And all of these characters have movement skills of some kind. I feel like if I find over the course of the fights that their movement skills aren't performing as I might like, I can modify that then. I've got to say, I feel like I already have a huge amount of damage in this party, and I almost feel bad about the idea of taking the Jester and making them damage heavy as well. I almost feel like I want the Jester just to play songs. Play the hits, keep the crowd happy. No, what about the intermezzo? So target. For song skills, the targets get bled. Interesting. For inspiring tune, they also get stress resistance. For echoing march, when they move, so this is for the enemies, they get bled too. On target for battle, ballad, and play out skills. Extra tokens. That is what I want, right? I think so. I'm gonna drop Razor's Wit and Fade to Black, and I'm gonna take Battle Ballad and Play Out. I'm going to... boy. Am I gonna drop Slice Off and Harvest? I'm at least gonna drop Slice Off for Echoing March. And yeah, why don't you actually play them a song, Jester? Isn't that part of your job? Isn't that in your description? Of course, this leaves now the final task of naming our characters before we go on the road. You are Major Sean. As someone named Sean will not necessarily fit there. Next up we have Soratil. Sora. There we go. I knew how to spell. We've got Patricia, our orphan, and finally, our jester, 3D. Excellent. Making absolutely certain everyone has a path selected. Do you have the correct paths selected? Yep. I'm excited by the possibilities of this run. I'm terrified by the whole,
The road is yours to travel, but you are not alone.
I don't really appear rather to have a healer. I've got cauterize, but if they're not bleeding first, I can't really do too much about it. No one is currently fast enough to utilize consistently our snappy swig. However, Patricia does deal burn, so you'll still be able to utilize the top half of it at least. Major Sean, why don't you show us what you can do with some selfish motivation? Sorathil, plus 20% damage on range skills? Yes. Yes, I think you will. As for combat items, 3D, you are almost always going to be relatively far up in the back position, and Major Sean, actually, you know what, Patricia? You're the person who needs to be equipped with lowering the burn resistance of other targets. Extra resistance piercing. Oh, but that's only if a stained item's equipped, so I'm not going to be using that. Cool. Alright. I'll feel good about, whoa, hang on. I felt good about this, and then I realized I hadn't named the vehicle yet. This is the... I mean, what's our letter limit? Okay, so... I don't know if I'm going to be able to fill this out. You are now the Raps 4. It's the only one I could remember from a couple of the recommendations. That is, I think it's a Toyota model, the RAV4, very common four-wheel drive here in Australia. Ooh, some bleeding poultices. Or clotting poultices, rather. They don't make it easier to bleed, they make it the opposite of that. Harder to bleed. They coagulate. Alright. Arrow at him. I mean, Harvest still seems appropriate, especially if you can take out a target.
To finish this quickly.
Firestarter doesn't seem appropriate because I can't crit yet. And maybe it's not worth dragonflying if there's only one target available to take that dragonfly. Unfortunately, we have accessed the horror. Help the enemy's frontliner. Beauty. Flashing daggers is already enough. That backline target is now dead. I can smokescreen every area except for the very backline, which is exactly where I need the smokescreen to land right now. Dang. Alright then. Let's play an Echoing March on them. They do not, unfortunately, get bled directly as a result of that. Crush, though, can project its damage to that line. Our gruesome reflection horrifies us. But, dang. I was really hoping we were going to resist there. Alright, bring him to the very front of the party, and then finish him off with grace. 2 mastery, and reasonable amount of resources there as well.
Are you shaken? There is so much worse in store.
Land a killing blow on the Lair boss in the Fator, or Mage Sean. Using the blood twice is the personal mission of Sorithil. Gonna land a lot of killing blows on fanatics for Patricia there, but we get 4 candles for it, and 2 creatures dens for 3D, which honestly I tend to fill that over the course of a normal run anyway.
This is a little worse for wear, but familiar nonetheless.
Having a look at our
Conventional
provisioner.
fare, but fairly priced.
I mean, I will be taking the Despairing Flame. Oh, there's the stew pot as well. Shrine map for the Hero Shrine scouting location? I gotta say, it legitimately seems reasonable for us. Oh, there's the Surgeon's mixing kit, actually. I already have the synergy with that. There we go. Medicine chest. Unfortunately, that means I'm not going to be able to afford the shrine. Alas, I like the idea of running a synergy. Let's take Pygmy Pliskin as well.
Planning and mindfulness, as vital to survival as sharpened steel. Only death for those who would seek to stifle us.
Surgeon's mixing kit has a chance to produce restorative items, and then we also get +2 to the capacity of what, increases the stacking of restoratives by 6 per stack, and +2 to the quantity of produced items from the first mixing kit. Increased chance of looting trinkets.
This will serve well.
I really like the idea of extra route scouting. No, wait, it's not. This game is split up into route and location scouting. I care about location scouting, not route scouting, actually, because I want to go to all of those bad boys, those hero shrines.
Experience, however painful, is the greatest teacher of all.
Let's have a look at our next route. Ooh, early Fatal? Plus 33% to flame drain, but we got to keep the flame high. There's only 2 glimmers of hope.
The provinces and cantrevs of our land, crumbling and undone.
As shown, every second turn you would be capable of bellowing in order to hit the taproot. But hitting both of the enemy backlines is actually relatively difficult for me, so I feel like I'm not going to be able to clear the Lair if I'm going to the Tangle. I will possibly still be able to clear the Lair if I go to the Fader. I have a lot of movement abilities as well. Alright. I think I will go to the Fader, and I think I am going to take the 2 Glimmers of Hope as a result of that. I think going to the Fator, I'm also going to want 2 bandages, 2 healing salves. Part of the bandages and healing salves there is because I don't actually have good healing in my squad. I've also got apples and cheese, so I'll buy 3 stale bread.
Something to ease the rigors of the road.
Let's get some whiskey as well.
A bit of comfort on the road to damnation.
So for whiskey, I mean, I don't really even have especially ideal targets here. Just gonna go with Sorithil and Sean, because you both have an S in your name at the start of it. Oh, the name, not the title, Major Sean. And then some stale bread for everyone that is not Sean, who will eat some apples and cheese. I also have the negative stress and possible removal of a quirk. The thing is, only one of you desperately needs to remove a quirk, and it's Sorithil who needs to remove the yips. We lost the yips, but we did not lose the sprawl. Tangle Tactician. I still don't think that's enough to push us into the Tangle area instead. Clotting powders for... That's a combat item, of course. Never mind, that's not the poultice. I had mistaken it for the poultice. Let's make sure that I have some healing items available on characters as well. suspect that will be more impactful, and I suspect that will be more impactful over the course of the next area. One final sort of our inventory, and then I think it's time for us to head out. After mastery training. Oops, almost missed out on this. Oh man. I really want to be able to give combo to targets. Pirouette I intend to use at the start of every single fight, so increasing its high and low end damage, as well as its crit, seems very good. I want to use Firestarter very consistently, but I don't think I especially benefit from using it very consistently. Unless I use flashing daggers. I'm hitting 2 targets repeatedly, so Firestarter becomes much more useful in that instance. I do like the idea of upgrading Dragonfly. In fact, Dragonfly I think will immediately earn an upgrade there. Upgrading Harvest for the sake of going to the Fator and feeling pretty good about it. Honestly, feels like that could be pretty good. With both Battle Ballad and Play Out removing combo from targets, we have a lot of ability to manage enemies' aggression. I could also just up Crush. It does do 50% extra damage. You know what? No. I'm gonna up both of my opening abilities, and in just shortening the fights with those opening abilities being so efficient, we are going to have a good time. That's my plan.
Continues to spread its tendrils of rot and pestilence.
I'm so glad there's no relationships here. I know in my heart of hearts it was gonna be negative.
The rancid crop grows unchecked.
It's Lair first. Wow, the map of no decisions. All right, let's go to the Lair, I guess. Good lord.
Beware what awaits you inside.
I mean, I've got to save all of my healing things. Oh, maybe I should have tagged Cauterize.
Do you hear the child's cries?
Do you hear the people sing? Oh! That's what I wanted! That is why we're doing this! Man, I really need to take care of these corpses somehow. You know what?
Collaboration confers advantage.
Both of the enemies here are butchers. Let's try and move one of you forward. Oh, we bled them. Didn't manage to move them forward, but we have set up a movement every turn and a bleed every time they move, which sounds fun. Oh, 1 damage hack. Oh, you get moved! Again! So much bleed! Echoing March is actually really good bleed damage. In fact, there goes the Butcher. I guess I'm gonna try and take care of those corpses. Thrown dagger. Right to the back line. Hit him with the burn as well, courtesy of the Firestarter. We have selfish motivations, evidently. Just gonna make sure that everyone is reasonably defended from just a single large damage strike. There we go. That'll do. Alright, let's play out me. Oh, crit token! Neat! Throwing dagger can't hit the front, however, poison dart can. It's 3 to 9 on the damage range. Oh, it hits the blight and bleed at the same time, so pretty happy about that. Dragonfly, I can fly twice as high.
Malaise, measured and steady.
It's a good early gain of resources. I can't be mad about this. And I'm not.
Let us hope to finish this quickly.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good. I'm gonna use Fire Starter. On our Jester here. Setting up for Harvest, which now applies a bleed and a burn to each of the available targets. Giving him an absolute tongue lashing. Before we crush the livestock for its troubles. Oh, baby. We're doing so much more damage now. We've got 2 negative tokens, Taunt and Immobilize.
A slow dissection. An unavoidable end.
Big crits. Down on death's door. Got a target. I mean, if it was going to attack, it had to target our frontliner. Five to 7. I love just ruining this guy's life. Look at this. There you go. Ridiculous amount of damage.
All problems have their solutions. Even the big ones.
Oh, Curing Cuppa and Ghastly Gruel are both each quite good. Bomber Crop, negative 50% to Death Blow Resistance. That's a toughie. Extra max HP is good, but I can't really get people off of Death's Door, so that could screw me. That said, Ghastly Gruel would be a great opportunity for me to get more healing for characters without actually having to have a healer in my squad. One problem I think here is that this would ideally go on our healer. We don't have one. Or the person who gets healed by skills, because we don't have a healer, that we don't have one. Can I can't equip differently? Okay. I really would have liked the bleed resist powder. I'm doing it literally for the sake of difficulty at this point. Kill me, make me regret this.
Half-eaten mother.
Actually, please don't do that.
The child is a ravenous avatar of degeneracy.
Okay, so I only have to worry about the clotting powders when the Harvest Child is in the front line, because that's when Maws of Life can occur.
Let us take a closer look at the thing, as repulsive as it is.
I'm not entirely against the idea of taking out one of the meats. I'd like to have my bleed-capable units closer to the front as soon as possible, I think. Yeah, I think I have to open with Pirouette just because I want to get my Jester into a position where I can harvest. Oh, no, I don't have Hold the Line, so I can't... Oh, I do have Hold the Line. Hell yeah. So Barristan can rectify party positioning after all of this. What a tantalizing tidbit. Selfish motivation, unfortunately, has blinded us. But I do think I want to hold the line. Tidbit again, they're at the enemy front of the line. Great, so now I want to use clotting powders as soon as I have the opportunity. I don't want to be pulling the enemy forward because Maws of Life is possibly their biggest ability. Of course, I was blinded. It happens. It's a lot of negative tokens. I like it. Someone's got to do damage to the Harvest Child, so I guess it's gonna have to be me. I'm gonna roll Dragonfly here.
There is beauty in our imperfections.
Like, it's not incredible, but it does set up a burn, and that burn's unlikely to be resisted. Yeah, 18 damage as well as the initial hit. Worth it. Maws of Life, unfortunately, does hit that bleed. It crits with the bleed on one of the characters as well. Ugh. And now I get access to my clotting powders. Right now, when it least matters. Solid crit. Just in case. Oh, solid crit again, buddy. Take the bleed off. Ransack has a risk of pulling the enemy forward, which I don't want. However, I could get a heal. Do I want to try and Firefly for damage, or do I want a smoke screen to set up a heal on the crush? I think Firefly for damage right now. Never mind, I was not going to be able to access crush anyway. And there comes the bleed attempt. Unfortunately, we do not resist it. I was really hoping we would. What's it, 86? 86, and we didn't manage to resist it. Oof. Blinded.
An opportunity. Squandered.
I wasn't trying. 3D. Definitely heal yourself up. It's time for a harvest. Oh, combo token on both. Love to see that. In fact,
A calculated generosity.
with a second
But a
combo
welcome
token.
one nonetheless.
Oh no! The frontliner resisted the burn. Sorry, the main enemy resisted the burn, rather. Now I'm gonna have to feed the appetite. Definitely seems like damage time. I think I will smoke screen the enemy here, actually. Okay. crush you for 21, down to death's door. And let's pirouette away, and that's enough. Woo!
Sweet reprieve. Until the next test is put before you.
Okay, so how do I actually intend to utilize these? I really only did it for the difficulty, as I mentioned at the time. So I guess it's possible we could blight while dragon flying? 3D, you can just hold that for the sake of healing other people. Other than that, it seems reasonable. Patricia, as our runaway, you can hold the burn item. And we'll get 3D to hold the linseed oil flask. Alright.
A simple choice. At least it should be.
Caches are powerful, but so is an early hospital. Early hospital's less powerful when I don't have the relics to take advantage of it. But I do have the relics to take advantage of this. Removing light sensitive, removing bracket, removing boisterous. That said, unfortunately, that would deny me the watchtower showing me if either of these two choices are a hero shrine, which I would like to go to. I also get some stress reduction as well as some healing just for going for the hospital in the first place. Alright, let's go into the unknown. Oh, and it is just another cache. Sick. Completely fine by me. I might not be over the moon about the fact that we destroyed 2 of our wheels so far. Intoxicating invigorant. Academic cache, what do you got? Oh, Whack and Jack, neat. Brilliant brew, +2 to blight duration dealt. It's fine. Could have been worse. And it also definitely could have been better. Oh my god. My wheels.
Askew, coach limping. Be prudent.
I haven't installed the wagon jack yet.
Joints ache and muscles burn. The body requires attention.
Mortar and pestle for producing poultice items. It was restoratives? What am I? Stagecoach S? No, that's not S. H N B M I. I've forgotten how to bring up Stagecoach. There we go. It's Z. What am I looking at here? Bandages and restoratives. Okay, so that's not poultices. I'm gonna buy all of those healing salves, I think. But first, I'm gonna cure every one of their negative. And then a couple healing salves and I'll move on. Let's actually utilize our resources. "3D, I don't know why you found that complimentary."
The worst kind of parasite. Opportunists.
The musical jester was told, "I like you best when you're quiet," and formed a better relationship as a result of it. I mean, Dragonfly is just going to be the move for breaking that out. not attempting to bleed it as much as just remove the target's access. Hey. Keep that torch up. Crush the enemy for a solid 9. I do feel like I'm gonna move. Oh, unfortunately that did bleed. That was a very big bleed. I guess I must have added to a previously extant bleed. Oof. Let's use smokescreen to attempt to blind the implication. Successfully. I can keep the torch higher because there's no reason not to spend it as long as it's getting a full 15.
Let us hope to finish this quickly.
I mean, one dodge at least. Could have been worse. Move someone forward by one position, then they can still attack. Let's move you forward and bleed you ridiculously. I guess that bleed sets up for the possibility of cauterize, so maybe I do have a healer in the party through Patricia? Maybe. There's 8 to 14 on the damage range. Oof.
Persistence will overcome even the greatest of threats.
Not really much in terms of remuneration for what we had to accomplish there. Oh, I was about to say, please tell me the next thing's a hero shrine, and it is. Woohoo! Please give me riposte.
The rotten flesh of their animals. Then, still hungry, they turned upon themselves. Chapter 3. One eye open. Every night, the men of his regiment would interrupt his fitful convalescence. Mutilated and maimed, the spectral garrison clawed at his bed covers, whispering hateful truths in his ears. The exhausted attendants in the field hospital would wake to the sound of panicked screaming and inglorious sobs. It was not the war that had taken his eye. It was pride.
But look on the bright side, one eye's still open. Retribution! And it actually comes with its own negative tokens. Hell yeah. Yeah, so that's 2 ripostes and 2 taunt.
The loathing whispers.
I'm gonna drop Bellow for the moment. Pick up Retribution. And legitimately Patricia? Firefly is not really a good ability to use in this build. It does burn damage, but when it's fired from that far back, it doesn't do burn damage. It really doesn't do that much, rather. Let's tag Cauterize on as a safety tool. There's a Hoarder up here as well. Absolutely eviscerating the durability of my wagon. Oh! Is this... Oh, dang. Undeserved commendation for the men-at-arms. If in rank 2, plus 25% max HP. On target, command skills give a crit token a third of the time rather, and when moving, if you're in rank 1, stressed. Don't want that. Pile of Ash. When moving, 50% chance to gain a dodge plus token. Self. Backdraft skills give stealth. And combat start versus gaunt. So these are the ashes of her family, right? Her adoptive family? Is that the story that's being told here? Skeleton sight. -2 stress on resists. Double trinket. Greater gilded mind. Honestly, I'm not over the moon about any of them. Nor any of the stagecoach items. Okay, we'll hold on to my baubles. It's an utter shame, but I just don't really like any of these that much. I'm gonna buy a couple more healing salves, because that's never really gonna go astray in this run. Yep. That's a shame. I wish I wanted more of that. But unfortunately, I do not. Not even slightly.
Look ahead. A place to reflect, remember, and reconcile.
3D. I'm not liking that you don't have any other combat abilities. Like, Harvest is good, but the ability to change your positioning seems required, especially in moving yourself backwards, so Fade to Black seems a really good pickup. Battle Ballad seems mostly a way to set Sorathil back into position for another pirouette on like round 4. Which, I mean, I actually don't think that's bad. As much as I'm putting a little pepper in the way I talk about it, I think that would be totally reasonable. Ding dong! Time to learn what the Man-at-Arms failed at next.
Chapter 4. Ghosts of the Past.
I have a guess.
Demoted
And that's
and
it.
disgraced, he returned to the battlefield, ready to endure the wrath of his regiment and grant them some small peace.
Pour one out. So damage 2 to 3. The enemies have 16 HP. It requires a target Vengeful Spirit, has a cooldown of 1. It stuns them, removes a crit token, and gives a combo token to them. It's also Rest in Peace, which does 200% extra damage when the target has combo on them. Considering that Pour One Out has a cooldown, I think I should use that first, and then I should follow up with a Rest in Peace. And considering both of the other comrades act before I can do... Oh no, wait, it stuns them. Okay, so I should target one that hasn't acted yet. I'll Pour One Out for this comrade. And then rest them to pieces. Anger of the Fallen. Okay, you've managed to grant yourself a crit token. Honor the Dead requires a target grave and requires that that target has combo on them, which they do. I would be able to Honor the Dead in order to remove 5 stress. Honor the Fallen is actually what I'm being asked to do here as well. I'm going to start out by pouring one out to prevent an incoming tick of damage here. Use Rest in Peace. I do get crit there, and it's mainly for stress, that makes sense. So Honor the Dead is the way to recoup from that. I can Pour One Out before I do that, denying the enemy the ability to strike me this round. I'll Honor the Dead, getting rid of that grave, and some stress. No, it doesn't get rid of the grave. Okay. But Honor the Fallen is the ability. is the name of the game. Let's have you rest in peace. And then stun you, and we'll rest you next time. Great. I'm ready to honor the dead. Now that they are
At last,
dead.
he would sleep undisturbed, and perhaps find some comfort in that murky abyss of dreamless wonder.
Ooh, courageous ambition. So this has extra damage for our positive tokens, specifically our block tokens, and then it removes them all. That's super cool. Just convert to overwhelming damage from your overwhelming defense earlier on. I like it.
The worst kind of parasite. Opportunists.
Bloodsuckers. I'm not going to get that many rounds to play an inspiring tune. Or to start out with it, I think. Yeah, and here's why I'm not going to get that many rounds. Yeah, what with all of the that just occurred. Found a little bit of prestige? Rapport is the word I was... Wait, is this what I want? Each year on combat start. Gain on miss if you're in rank 1. Courageous abandon. Plus 50%. I don't actually want that. Because I still need the Curse Trinket as well as the Trinket in order for Major Sean to do all of the extra damage with this whole riposte build sitch I'm trying to set up. Alas. Oh, sick. Let's set up Firestarter on on our Grave Robber before we pirouette. Movement resist down. I don't think I'm going to need that. I'm going to try and get the altar out of position.
Victory supposes strategy. Press on.
Let's give some cotton bladders to our frontliner, who is definitely going to get bled a couple of times at least. We've managed to burn, and we even resisted the daze there. Oh my god. I really wish I had Bellow upgraded right now.
Measure out your violence, then apply it judiciously.
Retribution. I'm furious! Please attack me. I'm gonna use Battle Ballad to... I don't know, maybe I want to blind one of the evangelists instead. Actually, I like that a lot more. If I can steal away your crit, that would be great. Oof. Oh my god. I also didn't seem to avoid any of the bleed. What's my bleed resist? 76, cool. That's fine, just got bled 2 times in a row. Anywho, Patricia, definitely seems like it's time for you to remove someone's bleed and heal them up a decent amount right now. Love it. Alright, we got 1 target on death's door. Please stop targeting my backline. That's not fair, I think. I'm not certain it's legal. and use Dragonfly, and now we're ready for Pirouette in the next round.
Any being, however horrid, can be brought to heel.
Bring the altar to me. I do want to just delete the altar. Fine. I think I'm causing too many issues for myself by not doing that. I'm really good at bleeding my teammates here, though. Clarion Call, and never mind, that doesn't count as an attack.
A little help impeccably timed. Steady yourself.
Oh my gosh. I'm so stressed out. Pop a healing salve on the self. It's probably too early to bolster when I've got two people who are very close to enough stress for a bolster to matter. Okay, time for me to try and pull the Herald
Weaken
forward.
them, that another may finish the work.
As that's a follow-up for taking out the corpse as well as the enemy frontliner. They use a disharmony to try and move themselves backwards. Unfortunately, they don't stress anyone by doing so. So I think I will use a bolster by itself and just try and get ready in the next round for a inspiring tune that I'm not capable of using right now. I had to harm a relationship to get that heal off. I really could have sworn you were doing damage. Problem here is I immediately kill the Herald if I attack. I'm gonna set up another Retribution, because I would just really like to have access to a single... Oh wow, big crit. 2 stress reduction from that crit. But unfortunately I'm not gonna be able to finish off the Herald without... Or rather, I'm not going to be able to get to an inspiring turn. Oh well. Gosh, that's a lot of stress, though.
Amidst the spoils, an artifact of unparalleled power.
Knitted Blanket. Runaway. Plus 100% to bleed resist. Versus Gaunt, negative 25% damage. And burn causing skills do plus 2 burn. Ooh, Dark Impulse! Movement resist instead of the disease resist. That's much better, I think, to plan to pair here.
The loathing abates.
Oh, Incendiary Cocktail is actually a double stack. Excellent. So Snappy Swig needs to stay. Cuppa drops. Knitted Blanket gets up. And then the Cuppa replaces Sorathil. 3D. Do you want Possible Strength, I suppose? Alright. Alright, things are looking good, except for, you know, the stress of the party, their relationships with one another. I was gonna, for a joke, try and list a bunch more things that were going wrong, but there's really not that much going wrong. It's too early for things to go wrong unless they go drastically wrong. Show me Sluice!
Lower your guard. Soften your gaze.
Oh, gosh.
It is safe here.
The only negative quirks here, of course. Extra high chance for a positive relationship coming out of this area, though, so we should try and give some consideration to that. Sorathil, unfortunately, destroyed the Harvest Child rather than Major Sean, so that quest is also going to have a little bit of a toughie. Sean, please tell me you're not ascetic. Good.
Your coach is laden. You can carry no more.
Because you are exactly the person who needs to be using the Book of Bawdy Tales. Can't blame a man for curiosity. Now, off guard. Zoophobic, Tangle Tactician. Oh, hemophobic is actually a little bit of a problem for Sorathil as well.
Precious relics remind us of a time before the end.
I could buy a single songbook of Touching Dirges. I think upping people's positives, or upping people's relationships with one another seems a great idea right now. Brilliant Brew and the Sensing Cleanser. I think for each of those I can happily toss them aside.
Each improvement, a new variable in the equation of your fate.
Chance to brew woven items from the Worktail Loom. Negative stress. After each location. Don't really think I can afford any of those. Take the Songbook of Touching Dirges.
The rigors of the road. The provinces and cantreds of our
Sluice,
land,
baby!
crumbling and undone.
So we're going to get to do a Sluice as well as another area in the next episode. Very, very keen on that. Let's drop the Dirge. Oh, we got a Toon Armor at this party, eh? Interesting. Unfortunately, Sean and 3D are actually quite unfriendly with one another. I'll hope to fix that with some whiskey in the future. Unfortunately, it's not at the moment. I do wonder if maybe I should have just let the Wagon Jack continue. 6 to inventory slots.
Learn what can be taught, that you may stand just a little taller at the end.
Oh wait, I actually haven't reinforced the vehicle yet. I could just put the Wagon Jack on. I mean, legitimately seems like it might be a good idea when I'm going to the Sluice, maybe?
Experimentation. Your academic instincts serve you well.
So I just get to fight a bunch more fights there. Let's get some apples and cheese on the characters that often end up in our front line. Some bleed resist for Major Sean going to this next area makes a bunch of sense. The dartboard for some stress reduction, as well as a positive relationship increase between two characters. I mean, I don't think, like... I could give this to Major Sean and 3D, and it would help, but it would have to crit to really work. Unless I also want to read them poetry. Actually, I'll do that. No stress reduction, just... Oh, that's actually huge. Not only did we get the stress reduction there, and now a not negative relationship with one another. Yet, at least. We also picked up Sanguine. At round start, a 1/4 chance to de-stress, as well as extra resolute and extra positive relationship chance. Possible of removing a negative quirk. I would like to get off guard off of 3D. Didn't manage to work, unfortunately. Restorative herbs for... Honestly, I get stacks of this constantly because we are producing restoratives. I feel like I should give one to each member of the party right now for the plus 10% traveling heal, but the next area is also relatively short. Maybe I don't need it. But I am going to be fighting on the road as well. So I managed to convince myself otherwise. Perhaps I'll take the crow's feet on 3D instead. Heading over to the mastery trainer, I know that I need to get some stress reduction skills. Flashing daggers seems appropriate. So does thrown dagger, but I can't just have all of the damage abilities on one character unlocked. No. Fire starter as well. Cauterize. Smoke screen's actually a huge upgrade too. Actually, I'm gonna restart before I upgrade fire starter there. I mean, I will want to use Harvest in the next area if I have access to it, but if I deny myself access to it, I can just leave my character in the back of the party more consistently. Use Fade to Black and Inspiring Tune. Fade to Black setting up a combo is pretty good too. I'm gonna take the Inspiring Tune upgrade because I think I can then possibly just drop Bolster. Retribution giving 2 block tokens seems good. Hold the Line stunning targets that are comboed seems incredible. I'm gonna do it. Let's get stuns. I haven't run like a proper stunning Man-at-Arms since Darkest Dungeon 1. Actually. Over the moon to have the opportunity. That said, Bellow is probably appropriate in this area a bit more. Alright. Alright. Ghastly Gruel is fine on you. Never mind, I thought you were holding Noxious Cupper and I was about to complain a wee bit. But I think for the moment we're actually set up well. It's time that out, Sluice.
Abandoned waterways. Home now to far worse than rats.
Let's do it. I don't care about stagecoach repairs. I have a wagon jack. Positives? Amorous.
While the heart still beats, desire will never die.
Guard your valuables. Your valuables, Man-at-Arms? Actually, you know what? Man-at-Arms, you do not need to guard your valuables in this situation. Or Major Sean, rather. I have it on good authority that Sorithil will only steal from you when you are dead. Respectful.
Tried and tested. A bond to be counted on.
Ooh, that's a lot of respect in this party. 3D and Major Sean setting up once. Oh, baby. I'm over the moon about this. This should be a good sluice. Of course, it will occur in the next episode. So until then, my name is Rhapsody, the name of the game. Well, it's been Darkest Dungeon 2. Hopefully you've been enjoying yourselves. There's a playlist in the top left of the screen for all of my content in the game, past, present, and future. YouTube Bring My Nation down below, showing past the names of the people so generally supporting the Republic on patreon.com/RhapsodyPlays. I don't bother thank dear. And special thanks this episode to Victor. Hopefully you all have been enjoying yourselves, and hopefully we'll see you all next time.